Good boy. Say hi to everybody. Say hi to the folks at home. Yeah. He wouldn't get up here if I didn't have the blanket. Get comfortable. There's a lot to talk about. Are we on the internet?
Not right now. This is pre-recorded. But we will be when this airs.
Wait, but haven't we always been pre-recording these so they can edit out, all of my jokes that maybe necessarily don't land as well as the others?
Yep. 100%, Brian. That's what we've been doing this whole time, just editing out all your jokes.
I knew it. Tonight, the Mighty Nine experience an island getaway, dine with Caleb's trauma, and uncover an empty grave. We're going to break it all down with my guests, Marisha.
Howdy.
And Taliesin.
Hi. Hey.
He's everywhere. All that and more tonight. Oh, need more treats on Talks Machina. We're back. I don't know what to do, gang. He won't stay. I think I showered for this, and I think it's maybe I don't smell like myself, and he won't leave.
Just rub some cheese whiz on your body or something.
Oh, hold on.
Right in between your toes.
Hold on.
Then he'd have to put his foot up.
TOS.
I don't want to see that.
I can't show my feet on Twitch.
Yeah, that's a thing. I think they actually did update it to where it's like within reason now.
You can show 3 toes.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have 3 toes? Do we have to go back to old episodes of Talks where people are wearing maybe open-toed shoes and blur them out?
Does anyone wear open? Well, yeah, I guess Laura has her sandals game, but I feel like we're not really an open-toed shoe bunch.
Right,
really,
it's worse.
No.
We're a Sam's Shorts bunch.
Just grit it out and call it the Minecraft edition. It'll be fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? Marisha, are you still quarantining, or have you guys started shooting the latest season of Love Island?
Well, I think it's gonna depend on what Jeremy ends up doing. Yeah, I know. I'm getting old, you guys.
We all are.
We're all dying.
Rapidly.
I had to get some gunners, hashtag not an ad, because I'm staring at screens exponentially more than what I was before the quarantine. Yeah. And it started fucking with my eyes.
Yep.
It's tough when you're we were on the computer and tablets and looking at edits and all that stuff already before all this happened. But now that every single meeting, every single thing we're doing is all digital and it's all on the computer, my computer by 2:00 in the afternoon, the fan is going so loud. It's just like, it's just like you've done too much. You know what I mean? And
it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for me to.
Revolution starts.
Right?
Yeah, they're just exhausted.
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'll step away from a day and I'm like, oh, I was in 8 hours of Zoom meetings today.
Yep.
And now I have to jump on all these emails and catch up on writing and all these other things. So yeah, it's been a lot of time staring at screens.
Well, feel free to catch up on some of those emails whenever Taliesin answers a question.
Oh, great. Honestly, that would be amazing.
I just want to watch your eyes just drift.
And don't even mute your thing. I want to hear the keyboard clicks. I hope you have a real noisy keyboard.
I can go grab Matt's. Matt sounds like an AK is just going off whenever he's typing. Just
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Awful.
You're like, are you playing Call of Duty in there? He's like, no, I'm playing Hearthstone. Why? Do we have any announcements, Marisha? Is there anything you want to? Is there any breaking news alerts? Is there any?
Always.
Yeah.
Always. You guys should go check out. Gonna plug our friends over at Dimension 20. I'm drinking from our Pirates of the Leviathan Gold Gardens mug that I just got like yesterday. But yeah.
Is that whole thing out yet?
It's airing. It premieres
okay.
live on Wednesdays at 4 p.m. And then it's on Dropout, College Humor's streaming service. But I think they do end up windowing them later down the road. But yeah, best thing is to just check it live on Wednesdays. It's fun. And Brendan Lee Mulligan is a treasure, as well as everyone in that game. I love them all.
Agreed. That looks so fun. I'm going to watch all of it. I'm going to eat my popcorn with my M&Ms in there. You guys do that?
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, that I actually was recently turned on to that before quarantine, and now we can't go to movie theaters anymore. But yeah.
But I mean, you know that you can make popcorn at your house.
You can make M&Ms at your house, too. It's not that hard.
Really? Well, let's talk after this. I want to know your homemade M&M recipe.
My M&M might be a different thing. So that's okay. We should probably move on from that. That's all right.
Well, let's talk about subjects even more near and dear to our heart than M&Ms and homemade moonshine. Is it moonshine and meth? Is that what you're talking about? The M&M?
Yeah,
moonshine and meth? Okay,
yeah.
I had a feeling.
Melts in your mouth.
Come on, man. I grew up in a farming town. I know what's up. Okay. We have to address this head on, both of you. The world, there are literally millions tuning in right now, and they want to know how both of you and your characters are feeling about the revelation that Molly's alive. Taliesin, if you're not ready, Marisha, you go first, but I want both of you to sort of weigh in here on where you're at.
I was about to say Taliesin, you first.
I can go either way. I'm easy.
Well, then go.
All right. I'll start with I'll do me, you do you, and then I'll do Cad and you do Bo. We'll.
Okay. Deal.
Well, I suppose there was only two ways it could go. So really,
this is Taliesin speaking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I know some things which I can't talk about, but it was definitely. I'm aware of several possibilities of what could be going on, but again, I can't really talk about it. But it was I had a sneaking suspicion they were not going to find him. So
really,
yeah, I had a sneaking suspicion. It's like that. Yeah, I feel like it's unlikely, not impossible, but unlikely. So
because of what you know, and you know, answer this however you want or don't. But because of what was going on or not going on with Molly, or because of the direction that the Mighty Nine seemed to be going in, and you felt like
because what was going on or not going on with Molly.
Understood.
So, but man, can't talk about that yet.
That's
Marisha.
okay. It's okay. No, we just we want the broad strokes now, and then as things happen, should they happen, we'll bring you back, and we'll continue to peel the remaining layers of Molly like an onion.
Just to be an asshole, I'll say most of it is right there. Like there's not a lot that you couldn't figure out if you were paying attention. So.
Okay. So how to do? How am I doing?
I think I'm very impressed. I will say I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
As far as I know, pretty good. As far as I know.
Okay.
I was sitting there going, okay, yep.
Man, looking back, because I was trying to block you out. Because Taliesin, for those who, the way we're set up, we're basically in a big giant circle.
We have to significantly decide to make eye contact.
It's true, yeah. Because Taliesin is the table that's directly to my right, to me, stage right. So, yeah, I have to be completely looking. So I'm trying to talk to Ashley and deliberately put on the blinders so I'm not getting thrown by Taliesin's face. But going back and watching the episode, man, you had a range of expressions.
Whatever is the opposite of a poker face.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But that's a whole nother. Cad has no idea what the fuck is going on and is interested but like uninvested at this point. He's invested because it's like listening to your friends talk about like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Battlestar Galactica. You're like, wow, that sounds cool. That's great. Adema sounds like a cool guy. And they have coffee in this? That's cool. Starbucks? It's like comes from that? So yeah, he's into it, but he ain't got nothing.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Marisha,
Bo.
Yeah.
Bo.
I mean, yeah. Truly an obsessive level of trying to figure this out at this point. And it's Marisha had that knowledge in the back of her head of there's probably like a 50-50 shot that Molly is not in this grave. But I don't know how far Bo's consideration went towards that direction.
Interesting. Yeah.
And it didn't matter. It didn't matter if that was a potential possibility that we all kind of knew deep down inside. When Matt made that reveal, it was still just like this mind-blowing holy shit moment.
I remember the day I had this conversation with Matt Mercer for the first time.
Yeah.
Like, I remember walking from like a tattoo parlor to a Starbucks coffee going, okay, here's my pitch for an idea. This is my thesis.
Wait, when we all got our VM tattoos?
Yeah, that was the
Oh
that was
my
the
God.
we went together to the
That was
pick up
so
coffee for
long
everyone.
ago.
And that was my like, here's my whole thesis for this character.
Wow.
I'm sorry I'm going to tell you about this while we walk to a coffee shop, but here we are. But we're alone and I'm taking advantage.
Where were we in the campaign? Because we were still...
God, that was
before the campaign.
That was before the campaign.
Yeah, but I mean, campaign 1, we were still in the middle of campaign 1 when that happened. Yeah. Towards the end of it?
Towards the end, if I recall. I mean,
yeah, either
who
that
knows
or
with
it might
time
have-
anymore.
Yeah, it might. Part of me thinks it was in the break actually between the campaigns.
Might have been the break.
I might be wrong. Yeah.
I feel like you're right, though. Which
Yeah,
is weird
first
feeling.
time
It's
for
a feeling I've
everything.
never felt before.
I mean, obviously 2020 still has a few surprises left in it. Marisha, how did... I love that.
Don't like that.
You touched on it for a second, but how did Bo feel about returning to Molly's grave? Because we talked about the theorizing and stuff, but Jester specifically brought up Bo as someone who would be affected by seeing his body again.
Yeah, I mean, Laura's insight is pretty good that she kind of picked up on Bo's very trying to be vague, not trying to call attention to, kind of trying to move away from that idea. Because I mean, that is horrifying. That is a horrifying thing
gross
to do. It's gross, and I think it was just the way that Molly's death kind of affected Bo. It just, the idea of it messes with her head, and in the way, and I mean, Caduceus even mentioned something too about like this isn't normally something that we recommend doing.
Sometimes dead is better.
Sometimes dead is better.
Dead is better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So in it, I think having a permadeath character that we kind of had, and 2, having a grave cleric like Caduceus, I think it's warranted and put forward some more of the kind of moral dilemma thoughts between things. Like, whereas in Vox Machina, we were speaking dead with people left and right and not really thinking about it. And he didn't really have any type of personal effect because we were talking to dead people that we didn't have any emotional connection to. But when you kind of navigate it and it's someone with a little bit more of an attachment to, it kind of starts to bring up these opportunities to talk about the, morality of fucking with the dead body. Oh, that was the wrong way of putting it. But, just
no
disturbing
takebacks.
the dead.
No takebacks.
I take backsies. I mean, well, you got to think too. The Mighty Nine were much different people back when all of this Molly stuff happened, and at most of their cores still the same. But you look at Not/Veth. I wasn't going to miss one. And look at all of that's happened since then. You know what I mean? So it brings up a lot, like you're saying, Marisha, it brings up a lot of really interesting areas that I'm excited to see have to be explored by these characters, because you're going to be jumping back in time sort of mentally and emotionally to what those events were like. I imagine Yasha is going to be thinking about a whole other set of things because of their previous history. We talked about that, a couple weeks ago on the show.
Yeah.
Taliesin, we touched on this earlier for a second, but your facial...
Dead bodies, yes.
Fucking with dead bodies.
We touched on that.
We touched on fucking dead bodies for a moment.
Yeah.
But let's unlock this further.
This is going to get demonetized on YouTube.
I'm so happy.
The last video got muted because I made a joke about Chuck E. Cheese, and apparently they have they're very litigious.
You don't want to fuck with Big Cheese, man.
Well, I thought they would send me free shit, but instead they sent me a cease and desist.
You thought Disney was the big mouse.
No.
Wait till you meet Chucky.
Ooh, yeah. Chucky's got sharp teeth. Taliesin, we were talking about earlier a little bit about your facial expressions during all these Molly conversations. I text Annie, and then because I saw the episode after she did, and I said, he is having the time of his life right now. Is there anything you can share with the class about what was going on in your mind during some of this?
Yes, several things were going on in my mind. First of all, there are two reasons why I wasn't even bothering with a poker face. It's because my poker face is bad, so it's best to just let everything spill out, so that no one can tell what I actually know and what I don't.
Yeah.
And reason two, more importantly, is that I am the only person I can see very comfortably from our setup is Travis. And I know that this is one of the I know that also that he doesn't watch this show, doesn't really check Twitter, doesn't really do any of that. So I know that I can say this here and he will never hear this. Is that watching him freak out at me freak out was just a nonstop delight. So
you could tell.
Matt would say things that were completely baffling to me, and I go,
Yep.
And then I'd watch Travis being just like, I'd watch the short circuit in his brain, and I'd be like, I wonder how far I can push this.
Probably pretty far with Travis,
Yeah.
And he can give as much as he could take,
Most of that I had no idea about, honest to God. There's maybe 20% of that was I like, okay, yeah. And then the other 80% was like, I don't know what the fuck's happening.
Yeah.
Like 20%.
It's literally it's too long of a moment to GIF, I think. I'm pretty sure like there's people that have done amazing sort of like cut-ups and mashups of it, but it's too... There's literally too much of it.
I was picking faces. I was picking things to mug just to like every time I saw him freak out. I was like, what can I want to just push this further. What's the next level?
You're looking at all the camera angles and you're just like,
just like I wait till his eyes pop up to me and then I would just do something and then he'd vanish and think about it and then he'd look at me again and I'd be. I have been sitting on that for so long. This is the first time I've said this out loud. Yeah, it was all because Travis was looking at me.
Yep. Oh, man, that makes me so happy. Oh, God. That's funny. I didn't know that he was the one that was... I feel both bad for you, but at the same time, moments like this means it's perfect that you guys are like right there.
He's far away from me, but like he's like the easiest... Like he's the easiest for me to like actually watch something happen with. So that was really easy.
It doesn't matter. He's so animated.
He is. He's
it's
a
crazy.
Giant cartoon, especially when he's like having an emotional reaction to something.
Is it weird to not have the constant leg shaking under the table from Travis?
I have my own, to be fair.
Well, I was going to say,
yeah.
Taliesin was table left's shake.
Table left shake.
And then I had Travis was the table right shake. So I do miss it sometimes.
Yeah, I can see his legs too, so I can like watch them go.
Oh yeah, you can just watch it like the Fred Flintstoning under the table.
Well, the table there's nothing on the table, so I can just watch his legs bounce under the table. And like, yep, that's cool.
We should get one of those things that's just like the wheels, the wheel pedals.
Oh,
Put it
the
under-
little,
just
the under
put it
desk.
under his table one day when he comes in on a Thursday and see what he does. If he's like, "What the hell?" or if he's like, "Oh,
He can generate the electricity for the LEDs
exactly.
on the table.
Yeah, he can power all the filters and all that stuff." Marisha,
Yes.
are you still here?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It seems like Bo's fully sort of accepting her status as an expositor, having them dress her, throw her weight around to intimidate Vess, all that stuff. Even someone like Udala Fawn is impressed with her. Did I say that right, Danny?
You did.
Sorry, Brian.
If only there were more important people on the show.
How dare you?
I'm joking. You're here, Danny. How's she feeling about her role in the Cobalt Soul at the moment?
Oh man, she's feeling great. I think Bo is really accepting that these things that she was scorned for by other people and by other authoritative figures in her life are kind of her best skill and talent, and can really embrace those and be rewarded for those in a good way. So there's something nice and comforting when you can kind of reach that point. Not just with characters, but, as a person, when you feel like you can settle into your calling. So it's a good kind of, a good late stage Bo that I'm excited to explore. And yeah, and kind of just accepting that sometimes you can do more from the inside instead of fighting the system from the outside or fighting whatever, to just kind of to be that person, fight from the inside. So
I totally get that. Do you feel like this sort of stage that she's in and the progress she's making is at this stage is sort of similar to Keyleth and her Aramente and that sort of like stage that she went through where she sort of really realized her calling? And not to spoil anything, but someone died in that campaign too, and it was awesome. I mean, it was. It was.
Yeah,
cool.
in a different way. Keyleth and Bo definitely kind of went two opposite paths.
Yeah.
To end up kind of getting into that place, but yeah. At least I hope so.
I would agree. I wouldn't say that. I mean, even if you just look at the way that those two characters view their families is so drastically different, that's enough in itself to know their paths were going to be much different.
Yeah, for sure. And Bo felt like she was too good she was better than that. Keyleth didn't feel like she was good enough.
That's a great way of putting it. It's almost like you played those characters yourself.
Such insight.
Such insight.
As Taliesin says, I know things.
Yep. He says to me, I know things and I can take care of people if you need me to. And that's what I like. Someone leaves a note in my car because I accidentally bumped into theirs and their bumper rolled down the street. Call Taliesin.
Yep. 30 minutes later, I'll just have them on a couch and be slowly petting their head. It's all right. It's all right. They're taken care of.
I've seen it work so many times.
Is the head still attached, or is it just...
We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that.
I have a kid.
I'm just kidding. Taliesin, speaking of headless, pestering people who leave notes on your car.
Yeah.
It seems like the Living City's obviously been tormenting Caduceus for a couple of episodes. Does he have his own theories about what the city might be?
He is not, I will say he's not prone to flights of fancy. He's just other than in just a more, other than in a relaxing sense, like he's not a big believer in jumping to conclusions. He's a big believer in taking in what he sees and just sort of trying to put it all together. He does quietly in the back of his head have this notion of a city of the undead, and he is wondering if this is somehow that all of this necrotic energy has to come from somewhere, and he's wondering deep inside if this is maybe the source of that. If somehow we have found that the the capital of anti-death. Is this giant, strange ship heading towards our reality? But he's willing. I know he's willing to believe whatever. Like he's willing to believe what he sees. So
that's interesting. How does that realization kind of make him feel at the moment?
I mean, what's
his reaction to that?
This is the thing. He's not a creature of hate necessarily or of loathing. This is one of the few things that exist that kind of trigger a bit of a loathing in him and a little bit of even a sense of disgust, even if it is something that he can fight back against. But this is something that unnerves him. This is how most people feel when they see a spider. Bless you. So he has that like weird, like that reptile brain spider, like, oh God, that thing is gross. Get it away from me.
Yeah.
So he's unnerved a lot at the moment.
What was it like to hear the Wild Mother not have a clue what he was talking about in regards to it?
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Like, that's the first sign things are bad is when nature's like, I got nothing. Like, when all that exists is like, I don't know. You're like, yeah, that's worrisome. It's the living primordial embodiment of literally every living thing in the universe is like, So, yeah, that's awful.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
That's like going to a doctor and being like, "Well, did you see anything?" So, I don't know. Bodies are gross. And you're like, "No, what? No. Jesus."
I walked outside the other night, and that completely distinct feeling of just 1 inch of your elbow touching a spider web.
Yeah.
It's the most distinct feeling in the world. You know it's not a leaf. You know it's not like a fly. You know and I hate spiders. I ripped off my shirt and was just like batting it through the air as I ran back into the house. And Ashley comes back in. She's like, is there a coyote? I'm like, yeah, it was huge. It had 2 heads.
Coyote spider.
Turns out they're terrified of Iron Maiden shirts. Anyway, speaking of terrified, Marisha, we were talking about the conspiracy theories earlier. So Bo's obviously been working on this whole Charlie Day thing, right? That comparison was made that night and on Twitter, everywhere else.
Yeah.
Her research goes back to obviously the early days of the campaign. So how was it to finally lay all that stuff out to your fellow players, and how confident is Bo in her ideas, especially after having laid it out for the rest of the group?
Yes. Feeling pretty confident. It's one of those things where both I and Bo, I feel like, know that any kind of one little facet of the theory is a little bit of a sliding scale. So, in kind of acknowledging that, okay, we know that Molly was being resurrected for some reason or getting involved with some sort of resurrection ritual. What he was getting involved with can kind of slide back and forth. So it's kind of taking those things that we know and then thinking about all of the other possibilities around from that. I love this shit. Part of the reason why I wanted to make a character like Bo was that so I could play out that facet of myself and it be okay and not get like screamed at for metagaming or some shit.
Right.
So, and that's also why I've been very diligent over the campaign to say things like, Bo takes the night to journal. Bo takes the night to read through her notes. Bo takes the night, because I wanted that to be a thing that was kind of established and that people knew that was a facet of her for when and if this moment finally came around. But yeah, and then, I mean, I'll take plenty of times to go through and just kind of read back through things and go back through things. So there's actually a project that we are working on that was forcing me to go back through our notes.
Yeah.
And my notes. And so I was as soon as Trent Ikathon mentioned, oh, what is Vesterotna doing? Is she having you raid tombs in Schottengrad?
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason that my brain went to the Tomb Takers was because I had recently reviewed and was refreshing myself on that arc. And I had the Tomb Takers written in my notes. So it was very kind of circumstantial and good timing that it was even fresh in my mind that I was able to pick it up. And then the rabbit hole kind of went from there.
Man, such good note-taking skills.
Thanks, dude.
Inspiring.
Resurrection.
Like I said,
interesting.
Well, I wrote down, and my notes look like a serial killer's notes, by the way.
Oh, I know.
They look insane.
I
and
write
not
it
all of
in
it makes
magazine
sense.
letters.
Yeah.
I have, as you know, I've literally been through your notes. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, forked over my books for a few things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so trying to go back through and interpret what I had written down. And like I said, most of the time I'll scribble a bunch of stuff and I'll start connecting things to it. And Matt's like, that was just descriptive. It was just for flavor. It has nothing the curtains were red. That's all. Don't worry about the color of the curtains. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I wrote a whole paragraph about how the curtains were red.
Yes.
Yeah.
But with Matt too, you really never know what detail is going to come back around. So
A chair is
makes-
never just a chair.
Chair is never a chair.
Chair is never a chair. We learned that.
Yeah, he's kind of trained us towards that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's why it's so easy for us to have moments like the chair and where we might overanalyze things because look at what he does.
I know.
Look at what he does to us. It's totally valid.
Look at how bad doors were. You know what I mean? So something's always the simple things too. Oh man, but do you know what's not simple? The complexity of this week's cosplay of the week.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Cosplay
yeah.
of the week. Woo!
We're moving now. We're moving. Okay, we're moving. Shelves are moving. Okay, now the thing's done. It's done. And now we're settled. We're settled in. This week's winner. Settle, everyone. This week's winner was sent in by Aston, aka at Kit Sun Studios. Photograph by Deanna Amoya. I think the second time was right. Let's take a look.
Oh, yes.
So good.
I think this one got shared around, so you
good.
guys
Yes,
have
it
seen this
did.
one
Nice.
already. Yeah. Oh man.
This cosplayer just is so fucking great.
Look at those
raw silk
pants. Look at
That's-
the fabric.
I think that's raw silk, man. That's cool.
It looks like it,
Get
doesn't
that
it?
purple green shift.
Uh-huh.
Look at all the little gems and jewels on
The
the
staff especially.
on the staff.
Staff
I
is
don't want to say the
rocking.
word
way they-
crystals because Max is on here.
The way they did the staff is just so gorgeous.
Yeah, it's nailing it.
Yeah, that staff is rocking. The little
Look at
mushrooms.
the hair too. The way the hair styled, the beard. It's all.
I love the earrings and
It's
the
all
ears.
perfect.
So
Fabulous.
cute.
Man, that's a lot of effort.
The gauntlet.
That is an absolute winner for sure. That
Killer.
takes a lot of work and great photograph too by Deanna Amoya. I think I did it. Watch him come back and say it's Deanna or something in the night. Congrats to you, Aston. You have won this $100 gift card to the Critical Role US shop. You can enter our contests by visiting critroll.com. Someone sent me a dabbing wizard / look at the little dabbing wizard. I can't
It's
remember.
amazing.
I know. I can't remember who sent this, but thank you so much. I found it when I unpacked.
What happens when you cast dab?
Kind of looks like a tiny Percy. Like,
It
because we
kinda
can't
does.
really see it. Like,
Well, let me see if my camera will focus on it. Maybe, maybe not. No, it wants to focus on me because it knows I'm the center of the world.
okay, well, don't mess up your camera.
Sorry, critroll.com/submit. Remember Raising the Roof? Rules for our contests are available at critroll.com, which is also where the shop can be found. Moving on with a question for Taliesin. Taliesin, are you still on here?
No. Hello? Yes.
Okay, Marisha, you
maybe.
can answer this for
Hi.
Taliesin.
Okay.
Getting focus.
Yeah.
Huh?
I thought you were raising your hand.
Question for the class.
No raising the roof. There's rules.
I think that's against TOS too for just straight up outdated jokes.
Yeah.
It's the only thing available in Quebec.
Oh, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Quebec. Oh, I also found a Quebec keychain that a critter sent me. I gotta find it. I'll have it. I'll have it for next week. I have a mug which I just put in the dishwasher, and I have a Quebec keychain. Change the laws. It's not my fault. Okay, stop emailing me. Taliesin,
Yeah.
let's talk about Trent. That takedown of Trent for the history books. Tell us more about that moment. Clearly, Caduceus, who's normally so even-tempered, wasn't gonna let Trent walk away without hearing.
He
from him.
wasn't angry. I should say that it was interesting because I, as a player, was thinking this guy's an asshole. was my response was, wow, this guy's an asshole, and Caduceus's response was, this is the dumbest man I've ever met in my entire life. He's so dumb. Is nobody going to tell this guy how dumb he is? Oh shit. This is what kind of, they're all freaked out. Oh God, somebody needs to tell this guy that he's an idiot. Jesus, before somebody gets hurt.
But wait, before somebody gets hurt.
But
Well, hope I'm not too late to this one.
Like Caduceus was trying to suck in chuckles through that whole fucking conversation of this is the dumbest shit. That response to that was like the product of several years of therapy and a couple very, very sad drunken conversations with Whitney Moore. Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah.
So that was somewhere between Whitney and my therapist. I'm like, I know the answer to this one. Hold on, fucker.
Wow. Honestly, I see every facet of that now.
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Now I can see the matrix of that burn. Wow.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, again, I remember the night that conversation happened too.
Let's make it clear. Whitney Moore is a wonderful, lovely human being
She
who
is.
is in no way compared to Trinikathon.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
Sure, but that's not what anyone is interpreting.
She was not the
She was
comparison.
the one I had the drunken New York Comic Con conversation with, going, "Oh my God, you're right. This is terrible."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
People like
that. Cheers to that one though. That was truly burn of the century.
That felt good. It felt real good. That was
It's
an hour of therapy right there.
I feel like were you terrified? Because I feel like that would be someone telling off Putin or something like
he's not going to do anything. And honestly, I think he needs to hear it. Clearly he has gone round the bend. And he needs somebody to check him before, and obviously no one else is. So no, this was from a genuine place of concern of you need someone to tell you that you are fucking stupid. And that the only reason you don't know it is because you set this shit up and it's bad for you. You need someone who doesn't give a fuck about you to tell you you're an idiot. Jesus.
Yeah.
How are you allowed to get to this level of power being that dumb? God,
What I was going to say is
I wouldn't let you borrow my dog. Jesus. You can't be trusted with a pet.
Yep.
Or a Caleb for that matter.
God.
Yeah, this guy.
oh my God.
No, that was a public safe. That was an attempt to be nice.
Mm-hmm. Two things.
It was not a burn.
Yeah. Two things I think that brought up for me. One was I feel like Caduceus's distance from that whole situation provided him the ability to be so blunt, on top of the fact that that's part of his personality in that way, but the way he sort of processes stuff. But it was very funny to watch everyone else sort of tiptoeing and sort of like really being careful about how, and then just boom, bowl in a china shop. Caduceus comes in and is like, what, take all this shit. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, by the way, kids, damage doesn't make you interesting or better. That's bullshit. That's not what makes you good. There's no character to be found in damage. No. It's just recovery.
Exactly. Yeah, there was some really good quotes in that episode.
No.
I text Andy. I'm like, "There's some bangers in this one, man."
I was having feelings.
Yeah,
it does feel like the equivalent of every toxic film director who has like tortured their actresses just because they're like, it made the performance more real, or you could just like let them,
right.
Shit
act. I've said to myself, Jesus, no. It's my internal monologue of like, this is at least going to make you stronger. And now I'm good enough. Like, no, it won't. If I survive this, it's just going to be me picking up the pieces. God,
it's exactly
trying
true.
to put
That's
it back
exactly
better.
True.
God,
yeah, spending a lot of money to do so.
Oh man, I spent years telling myself that pain makes you better. No,
no, I know it is an interesting. It is an interesting sort of phase of youth that I think a lot of people go through, because I think I've experienced that. I'm getting nods from the ladies too. I think and you do grow out of it.
It also,
hopefully.
I think it's been a little bit of a misperpetuated sentiment that we've heard in pop song after pop song. Romanticized of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's...
Clarkson.
Yeah, what doesn't kill you, Marisha? I think that's... you can still find truth in that, but not recognize that it's a necessity.
There's a bunch of steps in between. Yeah, I used to think I could only write if I was miserable, and it turns out, no, that's not true. I was like, why was I trying to get miserable so often so I could write? It was a terrible idea. Jesus.
I know that feeling, though.
My writing back then was shit.
Exactly. You realize, this is only one facet of me, and as long as I stay stuck in this mentality, my output is going to be consistent with my mentality.
Yeah,
so if
absolutely.
I can allow myself to... Exactly. And art, some of us that really like darker stories or maybe more sad stories, and Liam and I talked about this, I think, on his Between the Sheets episode, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those are the only types of stories we like, or those are the only types of stories we like to tell. It's just that we're drawn to that. But if we stay stuck in that, in the art that we make or the art that we consume, I think we're limiting ourselves.
And I can be dark as fuck and still be jolly whenever I goddamn please. I don't need to.
You don't need to.
You're a living example of that.
Yeah. You don't need to deny yourself happiness. Denying the happiness doesn't mean that you're going to forget the other side of the spectrum.
It's very hard to forget.
Yes.
That's true. No matter how hard you try sometimes.
Yeah.
Speaking...
It is 100 degrees, you guys.
Ditto.
It's
so
a
hot.
brisk October evening. I think that's why Henry won't stay up here, is because I have the air at 42 degrees right now, I think. And he's freezing. No, it's hot.
You're why we're getting brownouts. Cool.
I don't have the air. I don't have the air that hot. I have a team of people fanning me. They're all 6 feet away. Don't worry. They're all
attach the fans to the dog stand.
Yep. They're all wearing masks with my name on them, so I feel very powerful. Marisha, speaking of the Trent situation.
Yeah.
Bo brought up a really good point about how there's always motherfuckers trying to take credit for the Nine's accomplishments, right? How, does she see shades of her father in Trent, or was it just a general attitude of I made you who you are, that's sort of...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just seems to be a theme with a lot of us and a lot of the people in this campaign. And I think it's, in a weird way, it feels like the invisible villain that Matt has set up in this campaign more than anything. in kind of the way that, once again, Vox Machina is just kind of totally different from Mighty Nine and what's built us. But yeah, I mean, it almost feels like every damn character has some sort of person that wants to try and hand wave away what they've done and then try to turn it into a, well, it was for your own good type of a situation. And, well, I was helping you, you know, so everything from the excuse that Bo's dad made of, I did this was the best thing I've ever done for you. See, you wouldn't, you know, everything from that to Oban with Yasha to, and I also, you know, kind of a little bit, it was the direction that I was afraid was going to go with Jester and the Traveler. And then we saw it again with Icky Thong. So yeah, and I think it is just an interesting lesson to just kind of gleam and to just kind of take note of the different ways in which people will try and do that and try and strip away what you've done and your accomplishments and the strides that you've made. Because all of them had their own kind of different brand of it and their own different flavor, but it all kind of comes around to the same end goal of essentially just trying to delegitimize you as a person and yourself.
And your accomplishments.
Right. So, I mean, this is why you love RPGs and you love stories, and, you know, they're always supposed to be teaching tools, and especially with RPGs, in which I feel like it's such a good way to put your perspective in another person, and you know, to force yourself to think differently than what you might think as a baseline. I was talking earlier in this episode about the moral dilemmas of potentially bringing back dead people or talking with dead people and things that it just gives a great opportunity to think about it in a way that we weren't forced to think about that in other campaigns. So yeah, it just seemed to be a theme, and I think it's just kind of a good learning lesson, and ultimately kind of speaks towards why I think the Mighty Nine work so well together in the way in which we relate to each other so well. That it's just such a theme.
Yeah, big time. And I think it will continue to reveal itself, like you were saying, you know, because I do think there is something to what you said about it being one of the villains of this campaign, is sort of that mentality and how that's been used against almost everybody in the group, you know, in some way or another, whether since the campaign started or in their somewhere peppered throughout their backstory, you know?
Right.
That's very interesting and so much different from campaign 1 in so many ways.
Yeah. And it forces you to, in order to overcome it, you have to recognize and find a sense of your own self-worth within you. And I think one of the kind of common themes that a lot of Mighty Nine has had is self-worth issues in each and every one of us. So yeah. And I don't know. I think it's a good message going out to the critters and everybody out there. Like, don't let anybody try and take claim for your hard work or make you feel less than, or like you didn't, you know, you're not owed or somehow deserved it, or you're less than deserving because, well, I put you there. Yeah, it's just such a common thing, and I think you just hear it like more and more, and it can hide in some innocuous places that you're not always thinking about.
It really does.
Yeah.
Oh man, we're talking about some good shit.
We're getting deep, you guys.
We're doing good. I know.
Yes.
I think it's this crisp weather that's bringing it out.
Yeah, just
fall. It's beautiful fall weather.
I miss my jackets.
It's really wakes you up.
I've got a real gorgeous hoodie collection that I'm waiting to get into, but you know, I gotta wait.
Mint in a
I miss
box.
hoodies. Taliesin, talking a little bit more about this dinner. Caduceus seemed to bond a little bit with Eadwulf at dinner. Even sort of ending the night with a mutual respect. It's fair to say. What does he think of Trent's proteges and Caleb's former friends?
Oh, I mean, Clay likes everybody, and he also he's always excited to meet someone who obviously needs a moral role model.
Yeah.
So he was very much with the right friends and the right bar and the right attitude, I think you'd be okay. So it's very much the
words to live by.
Oh man, come over here where it's so much better. You'd be so much happier if you just ditched this piece of shit.
Yeah, there was a lot of that.
That seems like an exhausting friendship that you have there.
Oh my god.
You seem like you're putting an awful lot of work into it, and what are you getting out of it?
Real two-way street you've got going on here.
Yeah, so I mean, he's always excited to I don't recommend doing this in real life, by the way, children. This is a bad idea. But he's a big fan at the home kit friend of I just have to assemble you and you'll be the best one ever.
Yeah.
Look, just have to put in some work and you'll be although it's worked out pretty well for him so far.
Yeah.
But it's just part of his nature to be attracted on a friendly level to people who have almost figured it out. Just on the cusp of figuring it out.
Yeah, so. Marisha, what about you? What do you make of these people? Or Bo?
It's wild because I think what was it? Right after we walked out of that dinner and the group, I love the mix of thinking that we have in the Mighty Nine. Because I think it came up in discussion when we were talking about it, and Jester and Caduceus and Veth were like, I don't know, maybe they can be saved. We kind of like them. And I remember immediately looking at Travis and me and Travis just going, nah.
I was surprised that came out of Veth's mouth, by the way. That was who's usually so quick to kill them all.
Yeah, totally.
Murder.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a nice change of pace.
I think Bo knows that she has to give them a chance because she wants to believe that people can be redeemed, because she was redeemed, Yasha was redeemed, Caleb's the redemption story is prominent. Mm-hmm. So she can't be hypocritical and not at least owe them a chance, and especially want to right now Bo is willing to go along with it because she knows that's what Caleb wants and Caleb believes in it. But I'm with Ford. I don't know about these people. I don't know.
Hashtag I'm with Ford. Well, speaking of one of these people we were talking about earlier, as far as these the different themes of control and all that sort of stopping of developmental growth and everything, Bo and Caduceus were both extremely wary of the Traveler for obvious reasons that maybe many of us were wary, right? That we're also following along with the story. Now that the con is passed and Artagan, right? Did I do it right? I got it right. Laura got it wrong. Artagan's been, thank you, thoroughly humbled. How do they feel about Jester's arch druid now? Exactly. I'm with you.
I think Bo is a little less concerned right now because he kind of showed his ass. She's a little less worried. It's that. She's less worried about Jester and her decisions and what she's going to do because I think Jester knows now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the magic is a little gone, what we were talking about, I think I was talking about this with Laura, and we compared it to, that moment when you become an adult and you realize that your parents are also just like fucked up adults and just as much of a mess as you. And then you like one day you see one of them get like drunk and is like puking in a bush and you're like, oh, it's what it kind of feels like. You're like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that real side of someone, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're just as fucked up as the rest of us.
Uh-huh.
Taliesin.
Yeah. Clay came a little late to the maybe this is a bad idea party. I mean, for a while it was very much it's a big world and there's a lot of weird things people believe, and you know, I live in the forest and basically a cult, so who am I to throw stones? I have so many opinions on religion and D&D. I could write a book.
Couldn't tell.
Oh man. Oh, there's the notion of attempting to apply like common Western conceptions of religion to a world where you have a pantheon of interventionist gods as part of like the baseline. It makes no sense to me. I just have been desperately going, no. Everyone admits that every other god is there and doing shit, and they're, you know, it's more in common with ancient Rome than anything else, at least from a Western standpoint. But yeah, so he was like, okay, this is a weird thing, but it's no weirder than anything else I've seen. And then as shit went down on the island, it was like, okay, this is feeling a little weird. I'm starting to get suspicious. This might be, and now that he knows that it was a con, he definitely feels like the wind has been taken out of it. But you know, much like your friend who gets back together with their ex, there's a little bit of that. Okay, I hope that I'm really happy for you.
I want to be very happy.
I really want to be very happy with you for you, and like, let's just take this one day at a time, because
yeah. I mean, I don't know
really
though.
Been repentful about it, really.
It's
yet.
true.
But Jester
repentful.
definitely, yeah, that's true. I think it's Jester being a little disillusioned that gives. I'm like, all right,
yeah,
you'll be okay.
Yeah, I think she's going to be fine. I'm definitely like, I'm watching him a little bit. I'm just definitely, if I smell
Interested to
anything weird.
see how she navigates it, though.
Yeah,
Every breath you take,
it's a little iffy.
Stop watching me. Stop.
Caduceus from behind the tree.
I have
Marisha,
spells now.
You have what?
I have spells now.
Yeah, you do have spells now. That's true. Marisha, how'd it feel to finally punch him?
Would have felt better if I hadn't rolled like a nat 1 on it.
I know.
So I had to kind of play it off like, I'll just do a little fun slapsies.
It's been so long.
It would have been nice to really punch him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to be nicer. I
miss violence.
Yeah.
I miss violence. I know, it's been a minute since there's been a battle. How many episodes, Danny?
Since a battle?
Since there's been like a fight.
Since the phrase roll for initiative.
No.
The dinosaur.
T-Rex.
Then it was the
T-Rex.
Wow.
So I don't know. My brain is soup on how many episodes ago that was. I think like
I know.
4.
3 or 4.
Soup is everywhere.
Soup brain.
Is everywhere.
I love battle, but I love not having it too.
Oh man, I mean, so many great moments have happened the last few episodes. I wouldn't trade those for a Tarask fight. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Our next question, Marisha.
Yeah.
Bo seems to find it suspicious that there were no records in the Cobalt Soul about the Eyes of Nine, right? So
Yeah.
why does this send up such crazy warning flags for her? And, you know, to the point of thinking that the library itself is censored or altered.
It's the Cobalt Reserve. We have documents on when the Tomb Takers took a shit. You know, like, we've got documents on everything, and Bo has the philosophy of And I've kind of always approached her with the philosophy of there are no real secrets. It's rare for there to actually be a secret that someone else doesn't know about. People have a hard time not talking. People have a hard time not writing shit down and sending it in the mail. And Bo has proven that time and time again. People are bad at not keeping records historically, and in D&D as well. So for this kind of big thing to just have no information on it, it just feels rare. It feels like it's not something that normally happens. It's unsettling. Same thing with the Wild Mother being like, fuck if I know. You're like,
come on.
Do you?
Why? And then people saying like the records, similar red flag of there being no survivors from Aor in the crash. Right. And if it's supposed to be this crazy progressive technological magocracy that all these brilliant people, you're telling me no one survived, no one got out, no, I don't know. I don't believe it.
It's a little sus.
Yeah.
People got out of Pompeii, man. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the reason we know what happened.
People have survived almost every natural disaster in some capacity. Not everyone, but
the dinosaurs didn't.
I mean, basically what no.
But even dinosaurs, we have records of.
That's true.
That's
true. Yeah, we have the movie Jurassic Park 1.
Exactly. Jurassic World.
No. They never made a sequel. They never made a sequel
deviated
to Jurassic
from
Park. It was just that one film. They literally nailed it so well. They didn't need to make a sequel.
Yeah.
In the same way
Reach
that this week's winner of Fan Art of the Week is so good, we only have one, and it's Fan Art of the Week.
Woo! Woo! Fan Art of the Week.
We're moving.
Our dad.
We're moving down shelves now. The shelves are sliding by
us.
Pretty sure we've already moved.
No. We're moving, and now we're settling. We're settling. And now the shelves are settling, and we're blurry. We're good. This week's winner was sent in by Jake Wennick at Odd Alchemist. That's fantastic. What a great... Anyway, let's take a look.
Yeah.
I love this piece.
Isn't that great?
So good. It's such a mood.
Oh,
it's a mood for sure.
It's the footprints and the
thread.
The threads.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's so well
That's
done.
kind of, and the thread is kind of broken.
Yeah.
Where it's like there, but trying to still figure, it's just so good. Also, this is pretty much exactly what my notes look like. So
it's true. That is I was going to say, did they get a picture of your handwriting to copy it perfectly?
I think they did. Pretty wild.
Fantastic.
So good.
Handwriting of a doctor.
Great.
And I love the book on her face and
just
everything.
I'm done. Yeah.
Perfect.
Exhaustion from nailing it.
Trying to figure it out.
Just like you did, Jake. Congrats to you. You have won this.
Ooh.
$100. Come on, Max Shapiro.
I was saying, have fun, Shapiro.
You got this.
Oh no.
I'm really putting him to work tonight, but I know he's going to get into the office tomorrow. I know he's going to be at home, but I know he's going to put on his little Hawaiian shorts. He's going to button up his dad's shirt. He's going to get his gel and his
little baseball cap.
His little baseball cap, and he's going to tie his hair back into a little baby ponytail like Ed Lopez, just the tiniest little, and he's going to kill it.
It's going to kill it. He always does.
Weekly contest by visiting critroll.com/submit. One more time. We're going to bring it up.
We're doing it? Okay.
One more time.
I've given up.
Oh, shoulders. I like that. Minimal effort, a little bit of a stretch. Taliesin. We're squeezing a few more here.
Oh, right.
And some more questions. Caduce. I got a weird look from the dog on that one. Because he can't hear you guys, so he only hears what I'm saying. Caduceus had such a sweet conversation with Yasha about the future. He mentioned wanting to see the 9 settled in and not being ready to go home yet.
Oh, yeah.
Does he struggle with this, knowing that home is waiting for him, or is he at ease with the path he's on with the 9 right now?
He feels a little guilty.
Oh, no.
Yeah, tell us about it.
He feels a little guilty because he's really enjoying this.
Yeah.
Oh, it's guilt in that way.
Yes. It's
Okay.
not guilt for not going home. It's guilt for him not going home. Yeah, he's he's not quite done yet. And he's not entirely sure what done is going to feel like yet. He's doing that diet thing of, I'm just going to splurge one more day.
Oh, yeah.
And then tomorrow, salads, workout. But like, he's definitely pushing that just one more task I have to deal with the 9 eyes. Because obviously that's what the wild mother wants. So he's trying to construct exactly what going home is going to be in his head, but he's only barely begun to think about it. But he is starting to suspect that he's going to go home very different than he left. So
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little odd. And yeah, he doesn't quite know what it's going to look like yet because he's really enjoying this.
Yeah, I mean, considering what the few years look like before he joined up with the 9, I would say
Very quiet.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different change of pace there.
The occasional excitement, but it was mostly quiet. And yeah, I used the phrase rumspringer at one point of just that. I believe that's the term of the of like leaving home for a few years to decide whether or not you want to go back to the church, or if you want to, fuck it, the outside world's exciting. And he's definitely like realizes he's kind of coming to the end of that at this moment. So it's making him nervous. He doesn't know what he's going to do yet.
It feels like we're getting ready to round third on this campaign, but you never know, because
you never know.
Mercer's brain is an endless supply of twists and turns. So who knows what he's got planned? But it's cool to see. It's cool to see these McDonald arcs with the characters.
I try not to say things on the show that I haven't already kind of said haven't really expressed on the show yet. But that one was kind of, that's what's going on in his head right now. It hasn't really come out in the show yet, but that conversation will happen eventually with somebody.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense. That's where he's at.
It's sweet.
Yeah, it is.
We're all trying to find excuses to stay together.
He has the softest problems.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yes. He's just,
That's such a good way to put it.
I don't know if I want to move back in with mom and dad.
I know. Oh, what a move.
There's a millennial problem.
I was gonna say. Marisha, speaking of Yasha, we have to talk about this. Bo went on a pretty spectacular flight with Yasha, and opened up to Ford about her feelings for the everyone's favorite barbarian, as well as her feelings for Jester. So how's Bo handling having her own feelings for these two women grow and change as she gets to know both of them better and know herself better?
Yeah. Oh, man. Excellent question.
eagerly awaiting what you have to say about this.
I think as Bo is finally trying to get comfortable with the idea of being happy, I think she's going to try and, allow herself, kind of, we keep saying that too, allowing ourselves a little bit of happiness.
But it's an important recurring theme in the character development and in the story of the show, in my opinion.
Yeah. And when it comes to Jester is probably Bo's first real best friend. And probably one of the first kind of healthy female relationships, like friendships, that she's really ever had. And that's not going to change ever. She'll always love Jester. But Bo has said it before. Bo will say it again. She wants Jester to be happy, ultimately. And as long as she still has Jester in her life, that's all she wants. Jester has always kind of pined over Ford, or at least pined over the idea of Ford or a relationship like that. So Bo just wanted to see that. And as long as they can kind of continue being a part of each other's lives, that's all Bo wants. But then when it kind of comes to Yasha, at the end of the day, Bo's a lonely person and has always been a lonely person. And I think you kind of will reach this point where once you're not lonely anymore, in realizing, you can kind of come out of the fog and realize, oh, that was horrible and terrifying. And now it's even, the concept and the notion of it is almost more terrifying now that I know what I could have. And I want to go back to that. At the end of the day, I think, Bo just kind of wants to be with somebody and not to be lonely anymore. And there's always been that kind of flirtation with Yasha, but Yasha kind of had to everyone had to figure out their own shit out. And now it kind of feels like it's coming out of that.
Yeah.
That haze of self-loathing that we've all been in, and being like, oh shit, maybe this actually could be. But I think there's a lot of ways in which Yasha and Bo are similar that really complement each other, but then the ways in which that they are different that work really well. I'm a pretty big believer in that people can be attracted to more than one person at once. In fact, I'm kind of willing to go on record and say, I think that counts for pretty much everybody. And if you try and deny that, then you're lying, because people are hot. So yeah, I don't see that.
Look at this window of let's get Danny in there. I don't know.
Yeah, look at this.
Let's get Danny in there. But look at this. What more? Who else is cutting their own mullets out there?
Which, by the way, I've been meaning to say this whole time, Danny. I am obsessed with your kind of 90s charmed realness look that you kind of have going on. It's
right
great.
now?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's very much the Piper ponytail from Charmed.
I know. I love it. It's great.
I stopped developing a fashion sense in 1997. I just stopped. I was like, all right, I found it, and then it was done. And I've just never developed forward. I've never gotten past it, and yeah.
Nothing important has really happened fashion-wise since those times anyway. Taliesin will tell you. So
fair.
having lived through thousands of fashion weeks himself.
Long for a t-shirt now. That's all I.
Marisha, is that Dagon, or is one of my smoke alarms short on battery that I'm hearing?
Oh, it's probably Dagon.
Oh, hey, buddy.
Oh, it's funny. You guys can actually probably hear it better than I can, because I got the headphones in. I'm listening to you guys, but yeah, it's probably her.
Taliesin, speaking of wild animals and wild places, Rumblecusp, Caduceus had a hard time with all the wildlife on Rumblecusp. How did having nature turn against him affect his state of mind? And is he hopeful?
I mean,
yeah,
turn against you is one way of looking at it.
How does he look at it?
I mean, nature is dangerous. Nature is doesn't play favorites. Sometimes nature is goopy and ucky and sticky, and sometimes it's more often than not violent. So yeah, I mean, he has a complex relationship with nature. he was definitely
It's like
not
the video of
having
that
his
woman
best
who's like,
day.
the ocean is the shark's home. Don't go into the ocean. It's the shark's home. It's like that video. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't expect special treatment.
Yeah.
He knows that. Yeah, he's aware that in the grand scheme of things, he doesn't really matter that way. I mean, nothing does. He's definitely, the foot doesn't get jealous of the hand. He's just like, he's part of a larger system, and it's a system that will eventually devour him as well, and he's okay with that, or as okay as anybody can be.
Yeah.
I think the Wild Mother should absolutely play favorites, and I don't understand why Caduceus is not her favorite.
He was
This
really
makes no
hoping not to
sense.
have that day, I'll say.
Right.
It's like, this is not the day I wanted to have, and I definitely, maybe in deep down he was like, and you're not helping. Every now and then look up, into the, but I mean, that was not the day he wanted.
Wow.
He wasn't throwing blame, but he was not having the day he wanted.
Of course. Is he hoping the upcoming trip to the biting north will be a little kinder to him?
He's had some snow, but he knows this is going to be a brand new thing. So this is he's as excited for this as he was the notion of going to see the beach for the first time. So yeah, this is part of his world tour. He's very excited of like, we get to go in every direction.
Yep.
I want to see all of the different theme parks. Everyone in the United States. We're going to go on the theme park tour. So,
oh man, that would be
Take
so
me to Wally
fun.
World.
Taliesin, I want to go on a theme park tour with you so bad.
I know.
I don't
That's
think
so hard.
I
Everything I want.
hope we could still do it someday.
Yeah, I hope there were still theme
Hope
parks.
there's still
Yeah.
theme parks.
I will build one in my backyard.
Don't take that away from me. Don't
knocking
take
on-
it away.
Knocking on my wooden desk here.
Wow.
For both of you, Caleb's tower. Let's talk about this because
God.
this was huge, right? And by huge, I mean 3/4 of that episode. No, it was a sight to behold and experience for sure.
Large in 4 dimensions. Yeah.
Yes, exactly, which is what my MySpace profile used to say. What do Bo and Caduceus think about this crazy ass gift? Do they like their rooms? How's the mirror treating Bo? What are your thoughts on this?
Man, it's nice to be seen. It's mine.
Yes, it is.
It's like, I feel seen.
Yes, I can imagine.
Excited to see so much more with the perspectives that mirror grants.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be great.
Oh, the mirror.
Oh, the mirror. I love it.
It's gonna make for some art. I think it's gonna make for some art.
I don't know how I ended up becoming the Scanlan of this campaign, but you know
Hey,
what?
you know,
I am
Maybe
living
it was,
for it.
Maybe it was the bow.
Maybe it was the way that you played the character. I'm really casting the old line out pretty far.
I have nothing but dirty things to say.
I will
but
say
yes,
both
carry on.
songs are better.
But oh shit!
Oh man.
No, the tower is amazing. The tower is
What
amazing.
was
God.
going through your guys' mind as he just kept going with all that detail, and he had obviously just thought this out like
I want to build it.
in
Yeah.
real life. Oh yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
I
it's
want to live in
incredibly
it.
impressive. I want to see what all you can do with it. No, I mean it's amazing, and I think it really expresses the way that Liam likes to give gifts to all of us and what we do. And I was thinking about his one shot that he did a while ago. Where the "I'm better for having known you" line came from. So yeah, I think it's just a beautiful way that Liam kind of shows he cares and expresses that he pays attention and is listening. And yeah, I mean, it was a really cool thing to just experience, and loved watching everyone else's reactions. You could have
You're
talked for
taking-
hours.
It's the closest to a theme park I've been in months. It was really
Totally.
nice.
you're taking notes about what's happening in the campaign and all the different threads and the things put together, and Liam's keeping track of whether or not someone mentioned what their favorite kind of tapestry would look like.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
No, but really.
And Liam does that in real life too. You know, you'll cut to 6 months later and he'll be like, I remember you said you mentioned that you love this comic. And you're like, oh, I forgot I loved this comic. Thank you. Holy shit. So yeah, it's a cool way.
I'm excited. I want to live in there.
Can we just all go there?
Can we go?
We shall build a tower.
And welcome Critical Role Tower, but it looks like crayon because that's the only way we can actually make stuff.
It'll be a great ride at Crit Roll Land.
The entire main street will look like crayon paper
my
craft.
God. Go, like,
Yes.
Caleb's
Could
tower.
you
It could literally
imagine?
be the Tower of Terror, right?
Caleb's Tower.
Oh,
I would do like one of those like changing roller coasters where you're basically on the cat tubes.
Yes.
So you hop in every room.
yeah.
For the cat
Oh
tubes.
my! And as you
And
go
it's-
through the rooms,
Yeah, and you're just holding onto a cat. And it's, there we are, built.
that's amazing. Well, you can
Moving
like
the fuck
set it up where like as you walk into the tower, you know, kind of Haunted Mansion style, and you hear Caleb's voiceover be like, "Just think up." And everyone thinks up, and we all go up, and then we get on the roller coaster. It's gonna be great, you guys.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
But then you get into the elevator, you know, that you can go up and see all the floors and stuff, except they combined it with the ride Backdraft from Universal Studios.
Oh
and
my
you get to
God.
see fire go through every level and just completely obliterate. It's the end of the ride. Obliterate the mansion and all the precious things therein. What do you think? We'll get on a Zoom after this and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, well, we'll beat it out. It'll be great.
I'll draw up some. Well, what?
We'll beat it out. It's gonna be great.
Taliesin, our next question.
Beat out, you're dead. Beat out, you're dead.
Yesterday, I opened the box that came in, and it was these like really long wooden rods, like these thin, like probably like 20-inch. I'm like, what are these for? And Ashley goes, it's for beating the rugs outside to get them clean. And I was like, isn't that what the neighbor's cats are for? I saw Monty Python.
It's a classic. It's a classic visual gag.
But she was like, no! I was joking. I'm joking. Have you noticed we haven't seen the neighbor's cats in a while? Taliesin, you had the first successful divine intervention of the campaign so far. We have to talk about this.
I genuinely expected that to never happen. It's one of those spells where you're like,
thought
well,
it
I'm
really
just
would.
rolling it because like I want to roll it. We haven't had any combat and
Right.
might as well roll a die.
Yeah.
See what happens.
What was
great.
it like to go on that journey with the Wild Mother and feel that connection to her?
Again, like a theme park, I was like, wow, I got the e-ticket for this ride. This is nuts.
Yeah.
It was I'm still processing what I heard. Yeah, I'm hoping some of that becomes useful. I'm hoping as I watched Marisha furiously take down notes through that whole process.
It already has though.
Yeah, I was like,
it's part of what's
I'm
been
really
this whole conspiracy theory.
I'm really excited to see where this leads to.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Am I still on my 7-day hike? Because you can't use that spell again for 7 days once it works.
Danny?
I
don't know
gotta-
either. Yeah.
If anything, I think if you're not past
Like
it, you're
4
very
days
tail
in.
end of
Close.
it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think now Laura really wants one now too. So I think she's going to be rolling more of that. Like, is this the tea I ordered? Divine intervention. Did they mess up my order? I want to know.
These are not the
Just have the
cupcakes I
traveler show up and go,
ordered.
yes,
These are
yes,
not
they did.
The cupcakes I ordered.
No, I've seen a lot of kind of discourse about like, too bad that divine intervention didn't really tell us anything, or didn't really help. And I'm like, no,
It painted a picture.
it painted a picture, and then We absolutely used it to our advantage when we did fight Vokodo.
The Vokodo fight. It was so helpful for the Vokodo fight.
Absolutely, because we knew what he was afraid of, and that banishment.
You had to build that.
Yeah.
Fucking banishment.
Yeah. If we hadn't figured out any of that, that fight would have gone really differently. So
his attention was in different places because of the phantasms and the things that y'all were doing specifically to try to throw him off his game.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
It's the D&D version of yelling Martha really loud in the middle of a fight. Martha!
Pretty much.
Right.
But it is like a cool lesson to just kind of keep in mind that not everything has to be painted out as this, like, we know he is bad with ice. I could have come up with something better. But, it doesn't have to be spelled out to then
I'm wondering if it's going to help identify that thing, like, in its off branches once we get deeper into, like, seeing how it's manifesting in this dimension, or if it is, or... Like I think we have some clues now into how to identify it as well, which I'm hoping
for sure.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost some good stuff.
It is going to be some good stuff. I'm hoping too. I'm actually I'm going to start taking notes so I can remember stuff too, instead of having to just ask Danny. I'm going to start taking. Can you imagine what my notes would say? I was like, it'd be like, Bo, haha, meaning like you said something funny. Taliesin, like you rolled really bad. But I know what it means. If you ask me, like, what was this part right here? Yasha, oops. Oh, yeah, she went up to performance check. 0.
Yasha, oops.
Well, I want to wrap up with the question that a lot of people are wanting to know your feelings on this, Marisha, since we haven't had you on a Talks episode in months, and I like to make them, it's about a big event that happened since we were on hiatus, but I like to make them wait. Sometimes we'll put a real banger question at the end. It's like the news. When the news will kind of tease you and say, coming up at the, they don't tell you it's going to be in the last 10 seconds of the episode. They're finally going to show you the 6-eyed walrus, the baby walrus that rescued the group of Bolivian, the soccer team that fell into the well. When they went on the sightseeing trip, and then you're like, show me the goddamn baby walrus rescuing the kids. I don't give a shit about that treadmill recall, even though I have 2 of them. That's what this question is, Marisha.
I am with you 100%.
I have one on the ceiling over here. I can't move my camera. I have one on the ceiling, and I have one down here. So
you can walk. Do you do the backwards walk?
It's all
with the hands
about circulation. No. I'm not concerned with upper body strength. I need my thighs to be made of vibranium, and I care about nothing else in the world. Anyway.
So what was your question? Yeah.
We don't have time. We ran out of time. What was it like for you to finally learn what happened to Vilya and to reunite with her, but as Bo instead of Keyleth? This is what everybody's dying to know.
Oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
As Bo? What was it like as Bo, or just?
I mean, what was it like? I mean, as a player, but obviously because you're playing both of these characters. One who was her daughter, one who doesn't know her from fucking Adam, but has to interact, but pretend like you don't know. There's a lot of moving threads there. So first of all, what was it like as a player?
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why none of us picked up that it was Vilya, including me, and you just get that tunnel vision with your own character. Your brain is consumed with trying to figure out how Bo is going to react to this and just kind of keeping in that mindset. So, plus Matt has repeatedly said things like, don't expect people to come back from campaign 1. I really want these to be different. So I think he'd worked so hard to walk us away from those ideas that it didn't really occur to me. I was just thinking about Bo. I mean, for Bo, she was kind of just another person and another NPC. I mean, Marisha's brain melted and is still recovering. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy and it was emotional. And I think...
It was really special.
Oh my God. And then
really
Vilya... Vilya going home and just that like single moment of seeing her reunite with Keyleth, and I bawled my eyes out on the way home. Just yeah, and it was right there at the end of the episode, so I processed more of it going home later on and reflecting on it. And Laura said something right after we ended that episode, because we were all emotional, and Laura kind of nailed it on the head, and she was like, Keyleth finally gets her happy ending. I'm getting emotional just saying it again. And she was like, yeah, Keyleth finally gets her happy ending. And we were all like, like crying as the camera stopped rolling. And yeah, because Keyleth was always so bittersweet. And I've talked about it time and time again about how kind of everyone in Vox Machina had a happy ending except for Keyleth. Keyleth and Vox. So that's always kind of
life.
Yeah. That's always kind of been this lingering energy, I guess, and just kind of knowing that like Keyleth had some sad times and had some, I don't know. It's wild. I was actually, this is a bit of a tangent. I just watched through Parks and Rec.
You guys finished it?
We finally finished it. Finished Parks and Rec. Which meant that then we went down like the rabbit hole of YouTube interviews and like them talking on panels and things like this. And Amy Poehler and Adam Scott were talking about them talking back and forth when they knew that Leslie and Ben were going to get together, and when they got the script that Ben was going to propose and all this. And they were talking about how they were like, we were just so excited because we want these characters to be happy. And them talking about it, and I was like, other people can feel like this too, where these characters really are kind of an embodiment and living their own life. And so you get those very real feelings of, oh man, I just want them to be happy though. So hearing them talk about that and about them like celebrating on the side, because they knew that these characters that they care so deeply about and have embodied for so long are going to continue on and have this happy ending way after the show was done. And that was something that kind of Keyleth didn't really have. So having this years later, knowing that they're reuniting, that they were reunited, I was so emotional. I was like going back and listening to my old Keyleth playlists that I haven't listened to, and just like
you really
crying.
That's good. That's a good moment.
Good playlist.
Yeah,
shows you how much that character and all those years you played her meant to you, and still does. Still affects you so much.
Oh yeah. It was wild.
Obviously, still affected the community. Everybody went crazy. I mean, you could tell Sam found out from the chat, but
yeah, and even my fellow players, like Taliesin, you can attest to it. That like I said, when we stopped rolling, everyone had tears in their eyes. Yeah, everyone did.
It was a lot.
And even Laura being like, Keyleth has her happy ending. Kind of, it shows how much that she cared about the character, and we all care about it, and. Because you have all these real memories. You have all these 100% real memories of being these characters and having these good times with these characters. So, yeah, it's an interesting phenomenon.
Oh, man, I fucking love D&D. Are you joking?
Oh, so good. It's great.
Man, and I love that Matt, he creates all these special moments for all of his players, but that was just such a special moment for you. I asked him if you bought Taco Bell on the way home to thank him, but he said he reminded me you guys have to drive separate because of all the safety programs.
yeah, we drove separate now.
That was a highlight of this campaign for me, because I was not expecting. I believed him when he said I'm gonna, I really believed he was gonna keep it all separate. Sorry, Henry. He's looking at me like, dude. Fuck.
My ears.
It's just so unexpected. You just don't expect to see somebody who was that important and that much of a mystery still. Nobody was expecting it to come back. Like nobody in the Mighty Nine knows who Vilya is. Why would they care? And so the masterful way that Matt made the 9 care about her,
Yeah.
knowing that you guys would have knowing that you guys would automatically want to love her once you found out, but then not knowing immediately. It's not like she walked up to you and said, "Hi, I'm Vilya," the very second that you met her. So it was masterful.
Imagine if something had happened before we had restored her memory and that plot had just vanished.
Gone away. Oh my god.
Ooh, I don't want to think about that. That's too much to think about. That's too bad. That would have been wild, but also really funny.
I wonder how many times that's happened, to be honest.
I wonder too. It's got to be, because,
dozens of times.
There's a Nothic that knew just a direct path up that tower.
Yep. It's over.
There's an elevator.
Yep. Just like the end of Widogast's Wild Ride.
Wait, I'm actually your butt.
No. Oh my God. Oh my God. And just like that Tower of Terror will one day terrorize many of you. There's no more questions. We're out of time. Our reign of terror this evening has ended. Taliesin, thank you for joining us. I know there's going to be a lot more insight and answers and surprises that we're going to be able to just squeeze out of you. We're gonna just get in there and find out. We're gonna pump the truth out of you in whatever way we need to. Marisha, I want to also thank you for joining us tonight and for. Oh no, I've lost it.
Oh no, that's it? You
Remember
have nothing else you can thank me for?
Well, hold on. I didn't write them down, and this is the problem. Is sometimes I'll write them in the little iPad, but I don't have the little iPad. I'm gonna go off the top of my head. I would like to thank Shirley Manson, the lead singer of Garbage, for joining us tonight, even though she's at her Palm Springs Oasis house after recently having her tattoos removed.
Not bad.
All right. The wonderful Danny Carr, as always. Is it this way? Or is she here?
I think
she's here.
I'm here.
She's here.
Obviously.
Yeah, I think it's that.
It's this.
I think it's that, yeah.
Okay. As always, don't forget to love each other.
Yeah.
Stay turnt, my friends. And don't worry, an episode of Critical Role will air on it Thursday some point soon. Good night. We love you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.